some way people will say it is not competitive, that Napoli definitely are head and shoulders above their opponents there in the French league, in the Italian Serie A. But what can you say about Paris Saint-Germain, who are topping the table, 6 points, 3 points ahead of Lens and Marseille in the German Bundesliga? Bayern Munich leading against the Borussia Dortmund and Union Berlin with 5 points. And also, you have in the Spanish La Liga 12 points. Real Madrid are ahead of Barcelona ahead of Real Madrid, as well as in the English Premier League. Arsenal 8 points ahead of Manchester City. Which one actually would you see as more durable and competitive, and notwithstanding the number of points actually all teams have acquired this season?
To me, if I should say which one is not really competitive, I'll pick the French League One. I will not even pick the Serie A. Although people may say, okay, the Serie A looks not very competitive this season, I'll say Napoli are really doing well for themselves. That's just what sums up where they are at the moment. Although AC Milan, Juventus, and Inter Milan, they are not really having it for themselves this season. Things are not really working well for themselves. But yeah, it's just it's just one thing that happens once in a while. But Napoli, they've been extremely doing well for themselves. That is what is actually happening this season. It's not that maybe Italian Serie A is not competitive. But let's talk about French League on. If you can look at a French league on, PSG is always there about whether they do well or not. I'll tell you that PSG is not really doing well in their league this season. They've been losing some matches.
They've lost 5 games in total this season.
Exactly.
In the French League on.
In the French League on. I think out of those 5 matches, I think maybe the 5 of them have come this year. Only in 2023, or maybe 4 out of those 5. But that means that, had it been that there are other teams there that are really doing well for themselves in the past years or recent years that can try and catch up with them, but there's no any other team. PSG will just, whether they decide to end up with 50 something points, they will still come top of the league. So they cannot find themselves, they are not really competing there. Nobody is ready to compete with them. But for Premier League, you can see, even though the likes of Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham were not really doing well this season, you can still see Manchester City is still actually competing with Arsenal. That shows how interesting the league we have in England is. And in the Spanish La Liga as well, Barcelona is actually leading with 12 points, although Madrid has not been really doing fine and Atletico Madrid has not been really doing fine. But we know that league is always competitive. It's just what is happening there this season is just happening. But when it comes to real competition, every other leagues out of those leagues are really having it very competitive in a very high momentum. But when it comes to French League One, I don't see them as a very competitive league. I'm even surprised that they've made it back to the top 5 league. There was a time that they rated the Portuguese league ahead of them. I still believe, but what Benfica and Porto and Sporting Lisbon, the kind of competition they're having in their league there is far better than the one they're having in League One to me.
So okay, that's definitely your thoughts about how competitive the leagues have been this season, because Napoli are running away with the title. But it's full time at the Theatre of Dreams, talking about Old Trafford, 2-0 in favor of Manchester United over Everton, who are definitely dumped in 16th position with 27 points. Talking about the teams on 27 points, Everton have played more number of games ahead of these teams. Everton has played 30 games. Nottingham Forest, who are also on 27 points, are set to play later this weekend. We also have Bournemouth as well set to play this weekend. Wolverhampton Wanderers are ahead of them. West Ham definitely too are on 27 points. So these are the teams that are definitely in on the 27 points lead. Well, you can say accumulated 27 points in the English Premier League, but definitely that result actually means Everton they've just won one out of their last 5 games, and winning one of their last 5 games. But a lot of people would actually say, when Sean Dyche defeated Arsenal right after he took over the job, a lot of people would have believed that maybe Sean Dyche is the man to actually lead Everton to more greater things this season after Frank Lampard was sacked, because we are still going to talk about Frank Lampard as well. But this is about Everton against Everton and Sean Dyche. You know, he came back to the English Premier League to defeat Arsenal by a goal to nil. So from that moment, he was unable to even get the result, but he defeated another team during the course of their games, and here they are again, losing 2-0 against the Manchester United.
That just shows how bad Everton season is. Although there's this thing that happens generally when you get a new manager, maybe their next game they'll try as much as possible, whether they're having a world class manager or a low class manager, irrespective of the type of manager they're having, they will like want to the players will like go to impress and put on a particular fine and nice performance. That was what happened against Arsenal. It was just a show by Everton or by the players as well. But now getting into the team proper, I think Sondai himself now will know the level of the team he has inherited from Frank Lampard. And another thing about Sondai is this, that the type of the crop of players Everton have, I'm not sure if they can key into his style of play, because the style of play Everton is playing is quite different from what the style of play Lampard was playing before he got sacked. It's way different from the way Sean Dyche plays. If you remember the Sean Dyche of Burnley, rather, he would rather stick to the back, pack the balls, look for set pieces, and he had tall players when he was at Burnley. Then put in set pieces, win corners, win headers, and score a lot of headers and eat. What he does then is either he hits you on the counter or looks for set pieces to get goals. Then all he wants to do is sit back and allow you get the possession. And I'm not sure if he has the players at Everton who are ready to do the job and give away the ball like that and let the opponent play in your half and wait for counter attack or wait for set pieces for you to be able to get your results. I'm not sure if that will work for him, but maybe coming into the summer when he gets this kind of players coming into Everton, maybe starting from next season, maybe the results will change for him. But this season, I'm not sure if anything will change. Luckily, if they did not get relegated, we have a second chance.
I was just about to say that last season Everton has survived the relegation under Frank Lampard. They survived relegation, and yet they are again fighting to survive in the English Premier League. Do you think maybe this season actually might be the season in which they will just go down to the relegation, to the Championship, and then pick themselves up and come back to the English Premier League?
You see, the relegation battle this season is a little bit tricky because you can just see there are some teams there, some teams that looks bigger than what the position that they are right now. Things like West Ham is there, Leicester City is there, Everton is there, Southampton. Imagine Southampton is, in fact, Wolverhampton Wanderers is not doing well for themselves. If you look at the other half of the table, maybe right from 12th position, let me remove Chelsea out of it, even though we are not really doing well. But 12th position downward, I am not sure if there is anybody that is really safe, because if you look, if start from 12th downward, if anything should look like
why not pick from 11th?
We are
no, I'm listening to you.
Okay, we are right from 12th position downward, rather. You can see that.
Why not pick from 11th?
Okay, let's say right from 11th position, but you can see the margin and the gap between 11th position and 12th. We still have like 9-point margin between them, and that seems uncatchable to me. I'm with you. That seems uncatchable to me. But if you look at 12th position downward, I think the point between them is not actually much at all. And any team that should try and lose focus can get themselves in the relegation battle. So that shows that the relegation battle, as the Premier League battle there is tight up there, the relegation battle here is very tight and has I think much team than what we have been seeing in the Premier League in the time past. I was talking to one of my friends this week. I said the Premier League table this season looks like Nigerian Premier League table, where it used to look like that. You see so many teams that from one particular position that the point gap will not be like the point gap will not be more than 1, 2, 3 or 4 or 5 points like that, and you see teams just having such marginal point margin between them. That is what the Premier League table looks like, most especially the bottom half this season.
So we can't say it's just going to be based on their performance in the English Premier League if they are going to remain in the league. But still talking about survival of relegation, last season Burnley got relegated to the Championship, and